everyone, and welcome back to Money Mark Media presents Indy-Vision podcast. And this is episode number 5. And today I'm here with Timmy Titan and none other than the former Express Wrestling Three Rivers champion, Jayce Karr.
Hello.
How's it going, Jayce?
Good to see you guys.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Karr. I appreciate this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you went into what I've been calling it a partnership, but I feel like that is a word I need to use loosely here in this situation. But you went into a quote unquote partnership with Mr. Brian Anthony over at Express Wrestling. Where do I call you the CEO or?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be pretty honest in this, in this podcast. Me and Brian basically legitimately took over booking and promoting, and with the Tommy's been a big help, and we also have Horsepower who's helping out a lot, and Jim still owns the building, but like this is a different place that we're building. It's not PWX anymore. It's not that name. We would love to get back to the PWX that what was it, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, where they were packing the place and a big spot in the indies. We would love to get back there, but it's going to take time, and I don't think people understand that this is a different company now, and we follow different rules, and we're trying to be a good place for wrestling in Pittsburgh.
So yeah, you said about it being formerly PWX and whatnot. I've noticed that you guys have done a very good job of almost seeming to come up with a new roster compared to what they were used to at PWX. You're bringing in a lot of guys from Buffalo, a lot of guys from Ohio and stuff, it seems like. Was that something that was important to you guys when you first took over, was to give the people around here a fresh roster?
Yeah, and I think it's Pittsburgh wrestling is it's a bubble of the same people, and they're going to go to every different federation, which is fine. There's some real talent around Pittsburgh. Like, this is a big hotspot for wrestling, I feel like, nowadays. But we're going to bring in some people that Pittsburgh hasn't seen before, and they might not be the biggest names out there, but they're going to be. We can guarantee that. And they're the talent that I see from being on the road so much. And Brian has been in the business for almost 30 years. It's the talent we see that we see some growth in them, and that they're not on TV or anything yet, but these are guys that are probably gonna be, and they're guys that just haven't gotten booked in Pittsburgh at your IWCs and your rises yet, but most of them will be. It's just we're kind of getting them first right now, just because I have a very good pulse on independent wrestling as a whole, because I was a big part of the scene for a while, and I was just on the road, seeing these guys. So I know what's kind of going on. And so does Brian. We have a very good understanding of, what's out there, what kind of talent we can get in.
Tommy, I think you had something. I'll let you go, sir.
Oh, yeah. No. I wanted to go back in time because I know you've been around a few years even before you came to Express Wrestling. So we just wanted to know, like, how you got your start, where you started, and what made you choose professional wrestling as your career, as where you wanted to go,
Yeah.
Because you're a Mississippi boy, right?
Yeah, I'm from Mississippi, like born, and I moved up here in middle school, I guess, maybe a little before. And I started wrestling late when I was like 29. I didn't debut till I was 30. So I've lived a few different lives before wrestling. Like, I was a baseball player, played collegiate baseball, and then moved on to play some after college too.
What position do you play in baseball, out of morbid curiosity?
I was a pitcher. I originally started as a center fielder, but they moved me to pitcher.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense with the build.
Yeah.
So Jayce Karr's got an arm. All right.
A little, not too much, but a little
Now
bit.
everybody at Express Wrestling needs to respect his fucking right and left hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just throw right or left.
Yep.
Which one is it?
Yeah, it's right-handed.
Okay, so
But yeah, I played baseball and that was my life. Baseball's still like a huge part of my life. I still love baseball. I still help my dad's been coaching for 20 plus years at Pine Ridge High School. And I help him, and I played for him back when I was he coaches the freshman team, and I played for him when I was a freshman. So it's kind of cool to circle back with that. So baseball is still huge in my life, and wrestling is obviously. I always wanted to be a pro wrestler. Like me and my grandma, when I was little, she was obsessed with wrestling. She was like chair bound. She had a stroke, but she always watched wrestling. So that was kind of how we bonded. And I just fell in love with it from there, and I always loved it. And I actually, when I was 18, I tried out for IWC,
Okay.
and I did it, and I made it whatever, and I did like one or two practices, and then Justin Idol was my coach, and what's his name
Oh,
now?
pick that name up off the floor.
there we
Yeah.
go.
That's a name drop right there in this area.
Yeah, I don't even I haven't seen him since I started.
That's a
wrestling
crazy
in this
connection
area.
because my first ever on show thing was I came out with Justin Idol, so that's a weird little connection right there. But you
Yeah,
brought
I
up baseball.
honestly,
I was wondering if you had some type of baseball connection because I would see you wearing the Wild Things shirt, the custom Wild Things jersey with Carr on the back. So
yeah,
I wondered what the connection with baseball was there.
yeah, big. I actually got a chance to play at the Wild Things Park, and I wrestled there. So I might be the only one that can
Okay.
say that.
So you played ball and wrestled there. Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Just something random since you brought up baseball. What do you think about this whole banana ball thing? Are you into the whole banana ball? Because I've noticed it's been almost a craze as of recent.
The Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I have a couple friends that actually played for that team, and it looks like a lot of fun. They're coming to Pittsburgh soon, I think, too. Um,
I saw
I,
that. Yeah.
I would like to go see a show or a game, whatever they're calling it.
Do you ever think that some like side thing of wrestling could be almost like banana wrestling? Like I don't know how you would do it, but like where you could change the rules a little bit in wrestling and do something like that to go viral with. Do you think that would be a possibility in the future for somebody or?
I think it would be a great opportunity for when they do come to wrestling for a organization to team with them and have like a show in the stands or something. Because I know they've done that at basketball games. They had a show up in the stand. Did you guys see that clip?
I did. Yep. I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I didn't. But
Or even outside of the stadium before the show. I think the Bananas would be into that. I'm surprised nobody's like reached out to them.
Yeah.
No wrestling organization. Maybe we will. Maybe that's the next
There you
move.
go. That's we called credit, by the way. Don't anybody go taking our idea here. We came up with that on the
Yeah.
podcast. We steal that idea now.
to be fair,
Yeah.
though, when it comes to wrestling, wouldn't Kaiju Big Battle kind of count as that, though?
What is that?
Ooh, okay. That's like
So-
the dudes in the costumes.
They like in the Godzilla
Oh.
costumes and the different things, and they battle along like these like cardboard buildings and stuff like that, and just slam each other into them. Like it's weird.
I think there's
Yeah.
even a soundtrack.
Yeah.
I've always been interested in that. I always see pictures. I know a lot of indie talent work.
Yeah.
Like as the costume guys.
Now, coming up from Mississippi, now like what got you into PWX of all places, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it? Like you said you worked for IWC. I've looked at your cage match. I know you've worked for VCW. I know you worked for Rise. Like I know you've worked for a lot of the bigger promotions in the area. Like what drew you to PWX in general? Now Express
So,
Wrestling, obviously.
yeah. I'll be honest, like I started wrestling. I was trained at IWC. Um, from there, I worked with IWC a lot. Those first like year. But I was also like I was becoming really good friends with Assad and Danny Moe, and
Okay.
they started taking me on the road. And once I hit the road, I kind of fell in love with it. So I was missing like IWC bookings for some show in Tennessee just because I thought that's what you're supposed to do as a fucking independent pro wrestler. But
Yeah.
appar- apparently in Pittsburgh, it's like not not going to get you a great reputation if like with the Pittsburgh Indies, most of them. That's why I'm trying to make Express different. Like I want Godric on the road. I want all of our wrestlers on the road because like that's independent wrestling. That's what you're supposed to be doing, not doing one show a month in Pittsburgh. If you
That's
wanted,
that's how I was brought up. Yeah, that's how I was taught too. Was I mean, you get your name out there as far as you can possibly get it, basically.
yeah, and that does depend on what you're doing. Like I am pretty much done traveling. I've had too many injuries. I got a job. I got a girlfriend. I got the whole deal. I'm not interested in traveling anymore. So it is whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter to me. But like, if you're actually trying to do this, then you need to be out on the road. You know what I mean? And I was trying and I started missing bookings for IWC, whatever. There's kind of a fall off there. I was supposed to be, not many people know this, I guess, but I was supposed to be the next member of Culmination at
Okay, Gory in them. Yeah. Okay.
at IWC, and we were supposed to face off against like 440 or like Atticus, Otis, and those
Oh
guys.
wow.
And
Okay.
that's when I quit. Like I was abducted at the IWC show, and it was like the storyline that I was going to be the next Culmination member, and I quit like the show after. It was stupid. I probably should have stayed, but whatever. I made a lot of mistakes in my wrestling career that I've learned from, and that's kind of why I think I can help a lot of guys because I've learned from my mistakes, and I don't want them to make the same ones.
Very good. Yeah.
But anyways, I was traveling. We were traveling. Me and Facade and Danny. Cole Carter was a part of that too. He's in AEW now.
Mhm.
He was my roommate for those first 3 years.
Oh
Um,
wow. Okay.
yes. So me and him were really good friends. We had a tag team. But we were going to IWA Mid South, and it moved on. Whenever that hit the shitter, we moved on to OVW. Was there for a while. And just really going all over the place. Every single weekend, we were wrestling 3 to 6 times a week. It was a full time job for a while, and it actually paid the bills for a very short amount of time. I also got injured multiple times, which didn't help that. So I decided to move back to Pittsburgh. 880 was just starting up with MV. I
Okay. Yeah.
also
And be young. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I also wrestled a lot with Beast Man. Uh, he was a huge help when I came back because I like went away for probably like 6 months and came back, and Beast Man was there for me. I became friends with him and also MV. Those were two big guys that helped me out and believed in me. And I was there for MV's first show. I was there for from the first one till it grew, and it's doing great. I love 880. I think it's great for wrestling. Also wrestled a little at Enjoy during that time, but after I had so I'm an alcoholic, and I had a relapse, and people know this story. It's not really anything new. I've said it on podcasts actually, but I relapsed. I got in a fight with some really close friends of mine. I'm not going to mention any names or anything. I don't think that's necessary, but
Uh,
um, we were on the road in West Virginia, and we all got in a drunken fight. It was stupid. Oh, I was the only drunk one. It was stupid. I take responsibility for it. I miss those guys to this day, and it kind of cleared me out of those guys were some beloved wrestlers. So whenever we got back to town and they told their friends and everything, and I had to talk to MB and all those guys, it was kind of like, all right, Jayce Karr is probably done with 880 and like just that scene in Pittsburgh, um, which I understood. You know, it was just fucked up. It was alcoholism's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we're looking at like 6 months, coming up on 6 months now. So it's
You should be
going well.
proud, man. Congratulations. That's an awesome achievement.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And yeah, life's a lot easier when I'm sober. And after a few months of not wrestling at all after that incident, I was just like, it came to me that I have to accept that wrestling is going to always be a part of my life just because it's such a love affair. And it's something that I'm just going to have to deal with, that wrestling's just in my life. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
One
It's something
quote
you're
I
gonna
always
hate
talk
when
about.
you're
I'm sorry.
What's
I was
that?
just going to say one quote I always talk about when it comes to wrestling comes straight from The Godfather. You know, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. Like
Mhm.
it's 100%.
I always say I hate the idea of it, and then as soon as some lights go off, I'm like, oh, this is why. Okay, I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I retired and unretired several times in my career, to the point where my friends always made fun of me for it. So it was just kind of a funny joke we had going. I was Jayce Karr race car for a time at 880.
Yeah, what's
People,
that about? Because I hear a couple fans talk about that. If you like, I don't remember that at
I
all.
say I'm
But
not gonna lie. I've heard that said before too. So I've been curious about the whole race car thing also. So
it actually got over pretty good, but it was like 880. I was done with like so like on that time period I was traveling, I got into death matches in a kind of a darker thing.
you did Combat Zone for a good bit, right?
Yeah, I did that, and I did Prince of Deathmatch, and then I kind of hit the road with those guys, and I kind of won the deathmatch respect at Prince, and
Okay.
I got a lot of love from those guys. I mean, the deathmatch guys are some of the best dudes I've ever met in wrestling,
I
legitimately.
can attest to that. Having interacted with a lot of them recently, I can tell you that nobody is nicer in the locker room than a deathmatch guy. So or
Yeah,
woman.
yeah, it's just a fact, and like people like Atticus and Otis, I still talk to Otis.
Well,
They're
whenever I was training at PWX, they were still brand new and were coming down there all the time. So like I've actually like worked out with Atticus and Otis a lot. So that another both in my opinion, amazing dudes.
Yeah, both great dudes. And Atticus really brought storytelling back to deathmatch wrestling. Um, it was a huge thing, and it's still going. I think Atticus is actually done with death matches just recently
He did
announced.
just announce recently that he's gonna take a step away from deathmatch and from I think it was GCW he announced it at maybe.
It was something up in Michigan, or I don't know. I don't want to
Yeah, but I
say
mean,
in
he
the
said that
wrong
he's going to
term,
still
but
go. My theory is I think he's about to sign WWID or something like that and couldn't do death matches no more. So I hope for him, but that's my theory on it.
yeah, he's gonna do a lot of great things. He's a special talent and great guy. Um, and also a fucking badass in the ring. So
Oh, absolutely.
he's going to be great. He's actually a really, really, really good wrestler. Not just death matches. He can go
Yeah.
and so that I love deathmatch wrestling. That's one thing about me. But I don't know. I went off that tangent. um, but yeah, I was not around wrestling for a few months after the incident, and I was thinking, what can I do that I haven't done? Like I could have probably, talked to Brandon and tried to get back into Rise or something like that. But I wouldn't have done anything. Like it would have been matches here and there and just pity
Yeah.
stuff. Just because I'm friends with Brandon and I'm friends with a lot of those guys. They're just nice people. Um, and so I decided, I was always interested in PWX because ever since I got in the business, it was stay away from those guys. And I always asked why, and it was no reason. Like they couldn't give me, nobody could give me a reason why. Um, so I was always like, what the fuck is going on over there? Why can't I go there? I went to a show actually when I was not wrestling. Um, and I thought, it was what it was back then. And I was just like, okay, well, there's something here. There's definitely
Yeah.
something here. Um, but after that, I kind of wrote it off. But I came back to the idea, and I've always wanted to be like backstage. I've always, ever since I started wrestling, I decided I wanted to be in that position one day. You know what I mean? Like in the promoter
Yeah.
position or booking position. Um, so I reached out to Jim. I talked to Brian the first time, and me and Brian clicked immediately. Um, and eventually, Tommy can attest to this. We changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we can really talk about on here on the podcast,
I'm
but
as a former person there is like almost an outsider opinion. I can tell that you guys are definitely headed in the right direction. Like it feels like you guys are changing things and changing things for the better for sure.
It's definitely getting to the point now where like people are coming in and they're seeing and they're giving us a chance and they're saying, hey, these guys are really trying. You know what I mean? Um,
Mhm.
and it's sad because like on the internet sometimes we'll still get torn down from time to time. But like
I mean, that's bound to happen. It's the internet.
My whole thing, and I know Jayce is on par with me with this. We want to make this a safe place for men, women, anybody to work.
Right.
We want this to be a safe place to work. We want this to be a fun place to work. And when people actually come in, they finally see that now. So, and we're little by little chipping away at that bad reputation, trying to get it all back. I don't know exactly how we got this bad, but I know we're doing better, and that's the important part.
See, that's the part that's weird to me is what Jay said about like they said to stay away from it. Like I remember being a young kid, like PWX was the bee's knees. You know what I mean? Like I remember going and watching Brian Anthony wrestle Mad Mike and shit in Eastland Mall. So like the fact that it's kind of where it is now blows my mind as like a legitimate PWX mark for the majority of my life. So
yeah, I don't know. Like that's what I mean. Like I never knew why. I still don't know why, to be honest with you.
I think it was one or two bad apples that spoiled the bunch. You know what I mean? Like
there were some
people in there that
questionable
should have been
decisions
let
made.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say there were some questionable decisions made at a point, but I feel like that happens in every business everywhere. So I mean, you can't blame the next generation because you're mad at them because they clicked the wrong link when they Googled where do I train to be a pro wrestler near me? You know, like that's kind of how I'm looking at it, is like there's nobody even there from that point anymore. Like you have done a very good job of what I would call cleaning house and making sure you have reputable people there.
My
at this
apologies
point.
if you guys can hear me.
I can hear you.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, okay, all right. Like no, it's not the hearing. Like the entire cameras just went out on me.
Oh shit!
Oh, you're good. No, we still see you.
But yeah, I
Let me check
agree.
something.
I don't know where that reputation came from. I don't really care. It's none of my business, and I don't think it's so weird. Like I talked to some of my friends old friends that are wrestlers. I'm like, hey, you want to come work here or whatever? And they're like, I can't. And I literally, it's like social experiment. I've asked why, and nobody can give me a legitimate answer or something that they've actually experienced at PWX. It's all hearsay bullshit. It's all bullshit, really. And the guys that come in from out of town, take backseat boys for example. They came in and they fucking loved Express Wrestling. They fell in love.
Banger of a match too. Just throwing it out there. Them and Certified Degenerates went hard that night. Great match.
Yeah, they're great guys too. Like all three of them. Johnny, all the other guys. They actually stayed at my place the night before. But like that's just an example. And Jack Vaughn, Dalton McKenzie, those guys from Cincy, they, they have our backs 100%. I talk to Dalton all the time, and he's like, he wants to make this place better. He can't make it all the time because they do NWA stuff, and they're kind of blowing up right now. But they're, people that come in are respect this place, and it's just these Pittsburgh guys that are still, they can't pull the trigger, I'll say. And
Yeah.
the first couple that do end up pulling the trigger are gonna make Express Wrestling explode. Unfortunately, it's just a matter of when and where. um, but I think there is a when. It's just, I
How
mean,
much longer?
yeah, and we do have work to do. We still have a lot of cleaning house to do. We still have a lot of reputation to build, and I think we're doing that slowly but surely. We've legitimately, like, there's things that people have came in before, I guess, and there's just things that have changed that haven't changed before in the history of PWX. Not just a name change. Like, there's things behind the scenes that we're doing that are kind of unprecedented in the history of PWX. And I think that's a huge win. And we're just trying to be a part of the, like Tommy said, just like, we want to be a safe place for wrestling, and we don't want any beef. We don't want any bullshit drama. We're just trying to put on a good experience for fans.
Absolutely.
I think what helps us with that too is that both of us were. I was a worker at one time. You're a current worker. We see things from the worker's perspective,
Uh,
and it's something we can be like, what are some of the things that we wanted when we came into we wanted to see when we came into a company, and we try to implement that. Like, this is what people want, so this is what I would have wanted, so let's do that.
yeah. Yeah, and you also have to, me, Brian, and Tommy are we're all workers or are workers, and like, we get that aspect. But I think we're also getting the business aspect of, like, how to bring people in, what do we have to do for production, things like that. Because I have been in the business world my entire life, like since college. I still do have a job. I kind of do understand that point of how things work. So we have to make money. I understand that, but we also have to spend money to make money, basically. And it's gonna, we're gonna come to that point to where it's gonna be a nicer facility and everything like that.
So you brought up making money, and I've noticed that you seem to be on the same side as me on here. Like, do you think that the future of wrestling is more online money than actual in-person show money?
For
Because in my
independent.
opinion, I mean, every building has a limit to how many people it can hold. There's no limit to how many people you can get to click a video.
Yeah, I mean, for independent wrestling, I think 100%. I think wrestlers are already showing that. Jack Vaughn, for example,
Perfect
he's
example. Yep.
yeah, he's been wrestling for so long, and now he popped off on social media, and he's bigger than anybody on the Indies. He's just as big as anybody on the Indies as far as popularity goes, and
Oh, easy.
he's making a lot of money, I'm sure. So. And that's from TikTok, that's from Instagram Reels, all that stuff. I think online is huge, and it's going to be even bigger. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I'd say, especially in places like Mystery Wrestling and stuff like that, where they're basically running in what seems like 100-person venues, but then they're making a good chunk of money off their Patreon and off of YouTube views and stuff like that. So, as far as
Yeah,
like TV and stuff like that goes, I almost think that the internet is more where you should be focused, in my opinion. Now,
I agree too. Especially, like, I think it's a big priority for us too. If you make because we're starting to get decent crowds. We're starting to bring people back in. But if we make it look like, there's a way to make the place look like it's packed. It's hard to. It's hard
yeah,
for. It's hard for anybody I don't care if you're IWC, Rise, whatever, to actually pack a building on the indies. You know what I mean? It's very difficult. But I think that they make it look like it is packed just by the way the
Yeah.
seating is and everything. And that looks so much better for the internet. And like you said, the people with 100 fans, they make it look good. And that's all for
Yeah.
the internet. That's all for the internet. You know what I mean?
All right, then. Lightning round. Let's go, Jayce. Favorite backstage story?
Favorite backstage story?
Yeah. Something the fans
Jesus.
wouldn't know.
Something the fans wouldn't know. That's very fucking hard. Damn.
It could be funny. It could be sad. Whatever.
I mean, there's always bullshit, especially at like 880. That place was so much fun. There was something going on at all times. Damn. I can't think of one on the top of my head. I'll be honest with you. you tricked me.
That's why it's called the lightning round. You got to think fast.
Yeah. No, I can't. Too many
Okay.
concussions.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Okay. What was your batting average in high school?
My batting average is probably like 420.
420. Get the hell out of here. You're
Yeah.
that good. Okay. All right. Fair
I was
enough.
pretty good.
All right. All right. I went to school with a kid back in the day, which was, wow, what? I graduated in 2000, but he was a couple years younger than me, but he was a buddy of mine. He was being looked at by a bunch of scouts as a pitcher, and then he ended up having to have Tommy John surgery, and nothing ever came of it. But now he does like some trick shots and things for golf on ESPN sometimes.
Oh, really?
Shout out, hey Trevor Savage, how are you, bud? But yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. I
Great.
don't exactly know like what all he does, but I've seen him on ESPN a few times doing like some like trick shots before like PGA Open tours and stuff, and just
Oh, wow.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
I suck at golf.
Yeah. I love golf, but like obviously I can't do it anymore. So,
Yeah, I
it's a little-
can't. I'm fucking terrible at golf. I hate it.
But, no, I was right on.
Okay.
A big reason is because my father was a big wrestling fan, and that really like swayed my decision. Because before that, I was a musician, and I was touring a lot of places and stuff. But my dad was really into wrestling, and I always wanted to be a wrestler. So when he got sick, I came back home off the road. I wanted to help out. I decided, you know what, let's train. Let's do this. Let's see how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And like one of his favorite wrestlers of all time was Shane Douglas. And a few years after my dad passed, I had my first match on October 4th, 2008, which October 4th was his birthday. October 29th of 2009, he passed.
Oh, wow.
So like he never got to make it to see me wrestle or anything, but his favorite wrestler was Shane Douglas. And I got to like go on the road a couple times and share, like, listen to Shane's stories on the road and stuff. And I got to tell him like, hey, the reason I'm in this business is because of my dad, and you were his favorite wrestler. So
That's
was
so
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's very cool. Yeah, it's definitely like it hits close to home with a lot of people. Like it's more than just pro wrestling, and a lot of people don't understand it. Some people think it's weird or whatever.
Well, it's definitely weird, but
yeah, my girlfriend being one of them. She never heard of fucking pro wrestling. She doesn't know anything about it, but she was at the last show and she loved it. Like
she's
thought it was
never
so
heard
cool.
of pro wrestling.
I mean, she heard of it, but like
Okay.
she legitimately didn't know anything about it. Never watched a show or anything. And she came to that Express show and was losing her fucking mind.
And now she's going to
See,
start
that's another
training,
cool
right?
thing.
No.
See, that's another
Okay,
cool thing.
alright.
Is like even indie shows, like when you go see a live indie show, I think it's better most of the time than on TV. Like there's just such a different feeling than actually being in the arena where it's happening and stuff too. So
Oh yeah, for sure. I actually never like went to any indie shows. I didn't even know I always watched WWE, but I didn't really know about indie shows, I was never a huge indie guy until
I barely
I
missed
guess
the PWX show at a point.
Yeah, my dad used to drag me to the PWX shows. His favorite was Brian Anthony, believe it or not.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he loved Brian Anthony.
I never got to see Brian wrestle or anything. It was before my time.
Yeah,
He was
feel you.
good. He was good. I've seen a lot of him. I've seen a lot of Brian Anthony. Sorry,
Yeah.
Bad Boy Brian Anthony. He was a
Yeah,
different
but
guy.
just say it right, pal.
My bad.
What you're doing?
You
You're
and a point
ruining
brought up injuries. Do you know how many injuries you've had? Because I know you're just still recovering from one technically. Like you had one less than a month
everything.
ago that you
Oh
just came
yeah.
back from. So like, do
Yeah.
you know how many injuries you've had in your career total?
Ugh.
Especially doing that deathmatch stuff. I'm sure that adds to the numbers a little bit.
Honestly, that was the least injured I've ever been in wrestling. Believe it or not.
That's funny.
It was just cuts and scrapes, and it was what it was. You're just kind of walking and talking, and it's fun.
Yeah.
But you're not taking 300 bumps and getting your fucking ass kicked. But yeah, I tore everything in my knee. I chipped a vertebrae in my neck.
Oh shit.
That was my first experience at a WrestleMania down in Tampa, and they do all the indie shows and whatever. And I finally
Yeah.
got booked. I got booked on one for the first time, and I broke my neck or whatever, the vertebrae, in about 4 minutes into the match. So it sucked.
Wow.
Yeah, all the way down to Tampa for that. Um, but honestly, the worst injury I've had is this one. This sucks. Um, it was very painful. I was in the ring. We were just fucking around. I was with Godric. I had him in a suplex, and we both came down. I twisted my ankle, and we both came down, both of our body weights on my leg. So the ankle like twisted so viciously that it spiral fractured my leg. So like
Oh.
so everything in my ankle, then everything in my leg, or just the one bone and the big bone in my leg. Um, and they had to do surgery, and it sucked for a few weeks for sure. But I'm starting to feel better.
All right. So is there anybody on the Express roster that kind of stands out to you in general?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how much talent we've gotten in the past few shows. Like legitimate future, legitimate people. Like Dakota Orion is one of my favorite guys on the roster right now. I think that guy has a very high ceiling. Um, and it's just a matter of him learning some new things. He's very good in the ring, very athletic. It's just like he's starting to get it, and he
Yeah.
once he does hit that switch and that light bulb comes on, he's going to be very difficult to stop. On the indies in general, he's a good dude, good in the locker room, everything. Matt McCoy's obviously a hell of a talent. A lot of these guys are coming in from elsewhere, but like you have to shout them out. I know the guys on your show are you guys know this fellow, but RK Sawyer has blown up, in my opinion. He's really come out of his shell.
That's somebody who I remember him from before, and he's leaps and bounds above where he was, in my opinion. I think that he has come along absolutely amazing person, in my opinion. So
Yeah,
What
I
do
think
you
he's
mean we know
definitely
him real well though?
he's next up to bat.
Yeah,
Um,
what do you mean by we know him
and
real
I
well though?
can't wait to see that. As a wrestler, I can't wait to talk to him. I wish he was on the show tonight. But
yeah.
as
What
a
is he
part
talking
owner,
about?
I love to see him doing well. And um,
And then
RK,
I mean, you
God,
even have people like Vince Valor is in there.
I
I mean, you
mean,
have Ricky. I always say it wrong. I've found out that I've been saying Ricky
Ricky
Ricola.
Rakoa.
Rakoa. I thought it was
Roca.
yeah,
It's Roca. Yeah.
Rakoa.
It's Ricky Roca. I apologize, Ricky. I've been saying your name wrong this whole time, but I'm a huge fan. Just know it. Like I love dudes like him, Michael Grift.
Yeah,
Like I think the
those
Buffalo
two.
It's
Boys are just.
Grit. Michael Grit.
Well, then on the
Get it
paper it was
right,
written down
man.
GRIFT. Just throwing it out there. On the
What
paper it says GRIFT.
No, it
The
doesn't.
paper
And
that
I'll
you
show
sent
you where
me.
you're wrong. No,
Okay.
no, it doesn't, and I'll show you
Okay,
where you're
future
wrong.
Tim. Hey, future Tim. Edit in the paper that Tommy sent you with his name on it right here.
He didn't send me a
Thanks.
fucking paper. Yeah, the certified degenerates are exactly what I want out of express wrestling. They have an attitude. They have balls. They're good in the ring. They're fucking like actually taking some risks out there, calculated risks, and they're getting over or getting heat, whatever you want to call it. They're what I want, and they're pissing off like the old guys that are like, oh, they're too much, they're too, whatever. That's what I want. I'm sorry, but that's what's going on in independent wrestling. And if you're not with it, then don't watch our product, because we're going to be with independent wrestling across the nation. We're not going to stick to the Pittsburgh bubble, even though I have respect for everybody that does run a promotion in Pittsburgh. And I love those guys and I know them personally, but we have our pulse on what is going on in independent wrestling, and we're going to follow the lead.
Oh yeah.
Love it. You guys recently brought back the women's title. You got Paris Sahara. Is it Sahara or Sahara? I see every name. I'm gonna be afraid I'm messing up every name now because of Ricky. But you guys
I think
have Paris is your
Sahara.
champion now.
Oh
So you
yeah.
guys have Paris as your champion. Is there any match that you would love for her to fight? Like, is there anybody that you're looking into to have her defend the title against right now?
I mean, there's so many people. There's so many people. I think Danny Moe, if she were to come in, that would be unbelievable. Like a legitimate, amazing match. There's a lot of people on the indies that could do well against Paris. I mean, I've known her since I started wrestling, and the nicest person in the world. And she's good. I mean, that's all there is to it. She's very, very good. And
Absolutely, yeah.
no matter what you think, it doesn't matter, because she's a good wrestler. And if you have opinions on other things, then you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah. I see. I did
Um,
this with Godric yesterday where I asked him who his dream opponent was, and then I told him my dream match. So just throwing this out here to two important people at Express, I would love to see Paris versus Pepper Pride.
Pepper Pride, yeah,
That would be
we've
a
been.
great match.
I believe that would be awesome too, and I think that's something that we're working on actively. So we might see that soon.
So I don't want to give it away. It's already been confirmed. You will see Pepper Pride in the near future in an Express Wrestling ring. So that's all.
There
I'll
we
say.
go.
Yeah.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, it's great, and I think more talent are gonna follow. Her, and I think I want our women's division to be one of the best in Pittsburgh, and I think we have the potential, because we are reaching out to people that other women that aren't necessarily, like I said about the talent that we bring in. They're not everywhere yet, because we're picking them before they get there, because I was on the road. I met these guys and I know who's good and who's not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And these guys are gonna the degenerates are gonna be all over the place. Dakota's going to be all over the place. McCoy's going to be all these guys. I can't wait for Godric to get a shot somewhere. He deserves it. And whenever he does get it, I know he's prepared, so he will kill it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a matter of
I agree
time.
with the Godric thing 100%.
Yeah.
That dude beyond deserves a shot in my opinion.
Godric is always that guy that I can depend on to have a good match with whoever I put him in there with. And
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean? And that's not saying anything against anybody else. He's just that naturally gifted. And like you know what I mean? He understands the business. And,
Yeah.
it took him a long time to get here, but he's here. So,
Yeah. And I think that's why we should never give up on, people if they have good attitudes and if they work hard. You'll never see me give up on somebody, just because, wrestling, when you have that attitude, when you're working your ass off, and you appreciate the business, even though you might not necessarily get it yet, or you might not be the best athlete in the world, or whatever it may be, I'm never going to give up on you. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of people see us getting rid of people and whatever and this and that and blah blah blah. I keep everybody if you have a good attitude. I don't care if you're the worst wrestler in the world. If you're trying hard and you have a good attitude, this business is for everybody. But if you don't have a good attitude or you aren't trying your hardest, then you're not one of my people.
See, I always think it's way better to try to teach somebody than it is to disown them for not knowing. So
Exactly.
I'm a big fan of passing knowledge. But I'm gonna hit you with some random stuff out of nowhere right now. This is my personal favorite section of the podcast, and we're gonna find out, is Jayce Karr smarter than a fifth grader?
Probably not.
So
Really gonna do this again.
I need you to pick a number between 1 and 12. I'll give you that test, and so you know I'm not setting you up, I'll let you pick what test you want, 1 through 12.
5.
We're gonna go with 5. Okay, did you want your first grade question to be in biology or world history?
World history, I guess.
Okay, true or false? The year 1616 was in the 17th century.
Yes, true.
True, yes. By the way, I'm going to warn you ahead of time. Some of these questions are worded weird to where it
Did I
feels like
get
they're
that
trying
right?
to trick. Yeah, you got it right. That's why I'm telling you. That's one of them questions. It's kind of worded weird to where you feel like it's going to be a trick, but it's not. It's not. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so your second grade question can be in either biology or geography.
Geography.
Geography. Okay, what city is the capital of Japan?
Tokyo.
Tokyo. He is 2 for 2. Okay. So your third grade question, all the way. By the way, you've already made it further than Godric Sandwell, who lost on the second grade question.
Godric's like a freak genius.
I know. I know, and he didn't get it.
Your third grade question can either be geography or world history.
I'm gonna go geography again.
What is the capital of Thailand?
Is that a real question?
Yeah.
Bangkok?
That's it. Yep. I was going to say it was a bad joke in high school, and now it's an answer.
Yeah.
Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
I thought you were joking. Like, honestly.
I thought it was a joke, too.
It's like, where's he going with
you
this?
can either have math or literature for fourth grade. Math or literature.
Those are both bad for me. I'm going to go literature.
Okay. Who wrote the book Little House on the Prairie?
Oh, my God.
Wait.
It gets real serious. I don't know.
Read this and fucking... Oh, God, no.
Here's the thing about it. I remember the book, and I'm looking at the name, and I would have not got this at all. I remember reading that book in school, though.
Laura Wilder? Is that it?
Oh, my God, he got it!
Nice.
Okay. Nice. Moving on to the fifth grade question. So your fifth grade question. If somebody beats this on the second episode, I'm going to be so pissed because it completely ruins this entire fucking segment of the show. Do you want literature or math?
Fuck. I'll go with literature again.
What 19th century British author wrote the novel Oliver Twist?
Oliver Twist, that was a movie too, right?
Yep, but there was an author who wrote it. Who wrote the book?
It says it right in the movie. I can't remember who it is. It's Charles Dickens.
Oh my God, Jayce Karr is smarter than a fifth grader. 2 episodes in. 2 episodes in, somebody beats the test. This is insane. I thought that was going to be a fun running bit for a long time.
Hey, can I tell you the truth, though?
What?
He Googled.
On the fourth question, my girlfriend was sitting across from me.
Oh, you cheating bastard.
Oh, yeah, okay.
on the fourth grade. So I lost on third grade.
Dude, I knew for sure you did not pull Laura Wilder out of your ass.
No.
Laura Wilder, yeah.
There's no way he got that shit.
Who's J.R.R. Tolkien?
That's so funny. Well, I mean, you still made it farther than Godric. Because Godric only made it to second grade and lost. So there we go.
Funny.
Okay, so Current
That's a
leader
cool
Jayce Karr,
segment.
3rd grade.
So what do we?
Yeah,
How are
I mean,
we supposed to explain to the audience that Jayce Karr got beat by a guy that he's dumber than at? Or I'm sorry, that's dumber than him at Burgh Brawl.
Hey.
How do we explain that?
Like we told Godric, man, he got to stop reading. He got to stop reading books that are foreign and start reading American shit again because he missed.
Yeah.
If we're
What
being
did he
completely
miss?
honest,
What
he only
question
made.
did he miss?
Well, he missed the 1st grade question technically first, which is which continent or what is the only country that is also a continent?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Australia.
Australia.
But, like,
Oh,
and then he
That's a
didn't know
hard
how many days of the month have 31 days.
yeah.
I didn't know that either. So
7.
I got
So-
lucky.
Listen, I retain information like a sponge, okay? Like
Yeah.
it's stupid shit that I remember, but important stuff I can't remember, so.
Yeah,
It's gonna be like
same.
8 episodes in. Tommy's gonna know every answer to every test I have on the book.
Right, I'll be able to read it off to you. Like, I've heard this one. I remember it.
That's a cool
All right, well,
segment.
Jayce, I guess in closing, is there anything that you want to add to this, or like, did you want to give a statement on behalf of Express or anything along those lines, or I kind of want to just give you the mic and let you, if there's anything you want to say, I wanted to let you have your moment.
Yeah, I mean, as far as for me, I think that I've always tried to spread the message of, no matter how hard it gets, like for any fans listening, like I've been to hell and back while in pro wrestling, and before pro wrestling. Like I've been to the bottom of the bottom, and somehow I find my way back. And I don't know how I do it. It's just keep going, like never give up. Really, I know that's corny, but like, I lost a brother to suicide and drug abuse, and it's been my goal since day one to spread a message of positivity. And like, it's crazy. I've had to go through it while being a pro wrestler, but like if you just keep going, like don't talk to somebody, talk to me, message Express, come to an Express show. It'll make you happier for at least a couple hours. And that's what this has always been for me. It's an escape from the real world to where I can put all my effort into something that's beautiful and positive. And I hate that people make it so negative on the internet. And that's why I kind of don't get involved with that shit. But I just want it to be a play. Express Wrestling as a whole, since it's not just me now, I could represent a company that can put on a show for people that are struggling, to come out for a few hours and just forget about that shit and survive an extra day. And if you're going through something, come talk to me, come talk to one of the boys, come talk to anybody, and we will help you. And we'll get you through whatever's going on, because I always needed that help and I got it through this somehow. You know, it's kind of silly. It's pro wrestling. It's a bunch of grown men in underwear in a ring, but there's something that I love about it, and something that saved my life. So I hope it can help save other lives as well.
Right on. And last thing to always wrap it up, Jayce Karr, where can we see you in the near future?
Express Wrestling.
And when's the next show?
May 17th, but
Yeah, it's not. By the way, Tommy, it is not the 10th. It's not the 10th at all.
Listen, so a lot of dates is just kind of melt together. You know what I mean?
Tommy kept telling everybody the 10th at Burgh Brawl, and I had to keep being like, it's the 17th, Tommy. It's the 17th, Tommy.
Yeah.
I'm an old man. Okay, it's like I'm in a fucking wheelchair. Had several concussions.
You got anything? Is there anything big planned for May 17th that you guys have announced, or anything like that yet planned? Or
nothing.
I know you got a new Three Rivers champion. You guys got a bunch of guys from Buffalo holding all the other belts. I pointed that out to Godric, that he's the only Pittsburgh boy holding a PWX belt right now. So maybe we need to get some more locals in here fighting these champions. It seems like Horsepower is kind of on a collision course to take on Sebastian Braun, though. So
Yeah, it sure does, and we will see how that works out. I mean, that's Horsepower is one of our biggest baby faces, and we love having him here. And we'll see. I'm sure that's going to be a huge part of the show. That's my prediction for the next show.
Horsepower. I gotta get some workout advice off that guy. He is ripped.
He's a big dude. He is.
He's actually going to be our next guest. So
Oh, he
hold
is.
on to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely be watching that.
Absolutely. Well, on
Thank you
behalf
for
of
coming.
Indy-Vision and Money Mark Media, I want to thank you very much for being here, Mr. Carr, and salutations, sir.
Awesome.
Sayonara.